What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to our unboxing video brought to you by Bearded Kaiju's Unboxing Reviews. If you guys like the channel, hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, share with anybody you think like the content of this channel. Also, hit that bell notification so you're notified when videos drop like this one. Yeah, we are back for another unboxing review, and today we're doing a double unboxing and review, and one is a old figure and one is a newer figure, but they go hand in hand with each other from the same film, and one kind of evolves into the other, if you will. Yes, and I just realized that one of them I had never done on the channel, so I was like, well, this is the perfect time to kind of cram it in and pair it with another one that just came out, and two birds, one stone kind of thing. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about this. One I've had for many, many years now, and one that's new. So love to compare them and contrast them and just kind of talk about them with you and, get my opinions on what I think of them and everything like that. So with that, let's get right into today's video. Let's see what their boxes look like, then we'll get right into the figures. Hopefully you guys can see this. Trying to get both of these boxes in the same shot here. Might have to do one at a time here, but this is what we're going to be talking about. We are talking about the Yuji Sakai line from X Plus. We are talking about the Rick Godzilla 1995 Burning Godzilla, and we're also talking about the Godzilla 1995 Rebirth Godzilla from the same film, from the same line. Essentially almost the same, but a little different. But yeah, let's look at one box at a time, just to kind of get our full look at the box real quick, and then we'll get right into it. So first up, we're gonna do the Burning Godzilla as the older figure that I got and have had in my collection for a very long time. So this is, like I said, the Rick edition. You can see the yellow sticker on the box. That's the way I wanted to go. It's a special edition. If you don't know what a Rick version is, it's just a special version of the particular figure that is only exclusively offered from the Rick X Plus site, and only that way. Any other retailer that you get this figure from is going to be the standard editions. That's what makes the Rick edition so special. And they're just kind of an alternate look at the figure, maybe a paint job, a extra small figure, maybe a light up feature, some kind of special feature that is special to that website. So yeah, so that's the way I wanted to go. We'll talk about what the Rick edition is for this guy, but here is the box. Here's the front of the box. A nice colorful image of the figure with all the detail, all the promotional mumbo jumbo and everything like that. So really great. Nothing more to kind of go over here. It's just a brown box on all the other sides, kind of like what X Plus is known for and does, but at least they give us the color picture of the actual figure on the cover here for the Yuji Sakai line. So pretty cool. And then here is the newly released Rebirth Godzilla. Amazing photo. We know what the scene is. If you've seen Destroya, which you probably have seen Destroya, this is the reincarnation of Godzilla. Just a great scene that they photographed and got on the box. Really, really amazing. Like I said, this is the standard edition. No Rick extra here, no sticker or nothing like that. So that's the difference between them. That's what you're going to see when you see a standard to a Rick. You're going to see that yellow sticker for a Rick and non-yellow sticker for a standard. So that's the way I went. That's the way I wanted to go. And yeah, let's get right into these figures because that's what we're here for. And let's see what they have in store for us. First, we're going to go with the Burning Godzilla. Like I said, I've had this for years. I got this on the initial release. This came out in 2019. There was several different releases of this particular sculpt and figure. Firstly, this figure was based off of a model kit in previous years. I think it came out like 2016 or something like that. That was like a festival exclusive. Then they finally released the actual kit under the Yuji Sakai line from X Plus, all the fully painted, fully assembled, everything like that in 2019. So they had a couple different releases. They had a normal standard version, which was just a normal figure, and then they painted on the burning effects, as you can see on this figure. And then this is the Rick exclusive figure. This is a translucent vinyl. Then they painted over that with the black and the gunmetal gray kind of skin work that we know of Godzilla and his color. So all the burning pieces that you see are all translucency vinyl, and they just kind of painted over it, make it look like the burning pieces are coming through his skin and he is decaying from the inside out. So really great. That's what I wanted to go with. I just felt like that look was more genuine, more lifelike. I didn't like the painted on. It was just too corny, too fake for me. But I understand if people went that route. There is a difference in price on these. So if you could only afford one, and that's the best way you can go for it. Some paint jobs are very good. Just, you know, it just all depends on, you know, which kind of painter you get and what figure kind of thing. So some paint jobs are very good and you don't even know the difference kind of thing. So I just really liked the translucency. It's just kind of, when you kind of move it around, kind of looks like the inside's kind of moving with you, and it just kind of feels and seems like that inner struggle, that burning is kind of moving around in his body also. And I just really liked that effect, and it just looked really, really cool. So I went with that. They also had another release that they actually made a light up version of this figure later on. Not a big fan of the light ups. They kind of peter out for me and I don't always turn them on. So I just didn't need to buy that version. So I just got this version. So, but yeah, really, really awesome. Sculpt is amazing. Of course, it's Yuji Sakai. He is the master of sculpting, honestly. Everybody looks up to him. He's just one of the veterans in the sculpting industry, honestly, and just his work in general. He's just an artist, you know, and he just speaks volumes when he does stuff and everybody tries to mimic his work or takes inspiration from his work, or just knows, hey, you know, us as collectors, we know his work because we know like he puts out some of the best work, if not the best work out there. There is other sculptors that I like just as much, almost even more than Yuji Sakai, but I understand why and how he got the title of possibly the best or number one sculptor in Japan, honestly. But there's so many talented people out there that it's hard to really put a number one, but he's definitely top three for sure, in my book at least, with a couple others that I really think could really give him a run for his money. So, but yeah, let's look at the sculpt here. Sculpt is great. I love the pose. Very actiony pose, you know, 1 foot forward, 1 arm back, you know, a walking action pose, which I absolutely love. Just kind of brings more to the figure, not very static. And that's what I really love. I like to see kind of that movement going on in figures, and I just want to see more of that. As you can see, it's got the translucent spikes here, a very orangey color. If you ask me, I think too orange. In some ways, honestly, and the color goes all the way down his tail, which I know some people don't like, but, you know, kind of is what it is, and some people do like, you know. There's just that argument, but, you know, it is what it is, you know, take it how you get it kind of thing. But I think the spikes are a little too orange for me. I think they should be a little bit more yellow, but maybe this is I guess if you want to interpret a later version of him possibly melting down, getting closer to it, so they were turning brighter orange, maybe you could make that argument, but, you know, still a little too orange for me. As you can see, the tail is very long. He is a shelf hog for sure, so you got to make sure that you have enough length for the tail. Unfortunately, for a lot of the Yuji Sakai figures, a lot of their tails kind of stick straight out and go back, so they take up a lot of room. So you gotta be mindful of that. This is the biggest, I believe, or one of, next to Shin for lengthwise and height. one of the bigger Yuji Sakai figures, which rightfully so he should be, because at the time he was the biggest Godzilla out there. But I like his size better than the other Yuji Sakais. I think the other ones are a little bit, a tad small. They're all supposed to be the 30 centimeter line, but I still think that they're probably like more like the 28. They're a little bit too small, but I do like this one. He's closer to a true 30, honestly. So yeah, overall, he's just super great. I mean, you can't go wrong with this sculpt. That face is just amazing. You have so much detail in that face, and those eyes are just nice and orange and red. Kind of looks like they're bloodshot, but just kind of, you know, it looks like there's pain in those eyes, you know. Going to that mouth, lots of detail in the mouth with the paint, with the textures. They really nailed that. So kudos to Mr. Sakai, and the detail that he put in all this is just super great. Like I said, I love the translucency. Just kind of moves around when you kind of look at the figure. Just makes it more alive. And I just absolutely love it. So it's a great figure for sure. And I'm happy I got it initially. Happy I got the Rick, and just overall just a great figure. So really awesome. Next, we are talking about the Godzilla Rebirth, or if you really want to call it Godzilla Jr., as an adult form, we can. As you know, this is the last scene that you kind of see in the movie where you think Godzilla's lineage is dead and gone. You know, adult Godzilla died, melted down. Junior, I mean, came to his demise from Destroya. We thought he was done, and just very heartfelt scenes, really. And then at the very end, you know, when you think it's all done and the dust settles and the smoke clears, here is the silhouette, the shadow in the back, you know, rearing up and roaring, because Godzilla is not dead and gone. He is still alive. He is still around. He is still living, and his lineage lives on, because Junior absorbed all of the radiation and morphed himself into his father. So really awesome. I love this pose. It's super great. It just mimics that pose and that look in the very end of the film when he's rearing up and roaring with that backlight to him. Was such an iconic scene. You saw it on the box. It's so good, and I love this figure. I like that this figure has this pose because it means more for the Rebirth, and I think this is more of a true Rebirth Godzilla. As you can see, his tail is just like the Burning is a very big shelf hog, so you have to be kind of leery about that. It does go a little bit more up than back, kind of vice versa of the Burning. So that helps a little bit, but still, it's a big tail. Heisei Godzilla had a big tail. But as I was saying, I think this is more of a true Rebirth, because X Plus gave us a so-called Rebirth Godzilla with a normalized color version of the 30 centimeter Godzilla, Burning Godzilla, excuse me. And that wasn't it. That was literally the same exact pose, the same exact sculpt. All they did was just paint it normal. And that's not enough. That's not enough to make it look different, to really know that it's the Rebirth Godzilla. You know, this look, this sculpt is from that scene, takes it from that scene, and you know that this is Rebirth. This is Godzilla reborn. This is Junior being resurrected from his father's energy, and you know that's Rebirth. You know, you can't take that scene and just slap it on a fresh coat of paint from a 95 Burning Godzilla and call it Rebirth without differentiating anything about that particular sculpt and everything, and calling it Rebirth and actually make it mean something. That's sloppy. That's laziness. So I saw that and I was like, no, thank you. I was not going to get that version of so-called Rebirth. If you wanted to use it for like a 94, okay, fine. You could use it for a 94. That's cool. You could use that. But don't call it Rebirth, because it's not. This is Rebirth. This is that scene, man. Like, this is taken out from that movie. You know, that's the the reason why the pose is the pose and everything. Like, this is great. You know, obviously the suit in the movie from this scene to burning was probably the same suit. They just turned off the burning parts. That's fine. And they, you know, just kind of made it really dark so you couldn't see any of that stuff. That's great, because obviously, why would they make a brand new suit just for that, you know, 10-second scene? But it's the pose and the look of that particular scene that really brings out that rebirth, that you know, reborn type look for Godzilla, and knowing it's Junior. So they capture that, Yuji Sakai captured that in this figure, and I just absolutely love it. I love the rearing back. I love it. It's so great. Here is some close-up shots from the face and the eyes. The eyes are significantly different from the Burning Godzilla. I have looked close at them. The Burning Godzilla has more of the orange to it, and really kind of the burning kind of meltdown look. This is kind of more of the Godzilla eyes that we saw from 93 and 94, where he had more of the orange in there. And I just love that. It's really great. And that's essentially what Junior was turning out to be, was basically like 94 Godzilla. So think of that. That's basically Junior, but just younger, you know, because he was just literally born and remade and resurrected from that energy. So it has all new energy and everything. And it's just, I just love it. I love that take on it, and that's how I kind of perceive it. But I like this look, this representation for a rebirth more, and it's more legit for a rebirth. It's a great sculpt. Of course, Yuji Sakai knocked it out of the park with the face. I love how big the jaw is opening, and the roar of him just, you know, coming back to life, and just knowing, hey, you know, I'm alive, Dad. You know, you did it, and I'm here, you know, as the new king of the monsters. So I love it. It's such an actiony pose. You know, the arms are flailing, the legs, you know, are almost look like they're kind of, you know, supporting his weight, like that movement that I always talk about, you know, where he's leaning back too. You can feel it. You can feel that movement and that scene that happened. It's just super great. So really awesome. And I do absolutely dig this. I did go with the standard version of this figure. They did come out with several different versions, actually. They did this version, but they did a Burning Godzilla, same sculpt and everything, but it was the burning type. And then they did a light up burning type. So there was two of that one. And then there was two of this one, where this is the standard of this look, where it's just a normal gunmetal gray, you know, type Godzilla look. And then the Rick edition was the dorsal plates were blue, and it was a light up also with blue. I didn't go that version because in that scene, in that moment, he was not using his atomic breath. His spines were not glowing in any way. It was just him being reborn, him just kind of coming out and just being there, you know, and being a Godzilla. So I wanted to go kind of more the standard kind of look from the scene to make it more screen accurate, honestly, and that's what I go for. So that's what I did. So I'm going to do one size comparison, especially for the Burning Godzilla, because I want to compare it for another Burning Godzilla for you guys to kind of see the difference between the two. And then we'll get out of here. Right. As you can see, I have two different Burning Godzillas. I have the Yuji Sakai in my left, your right, I believe, and then the 30 centimeter Burning Godzilla on my right, your left. And I love them both, I really do, but I really do like the 30 centimeter just a tad more. I think his head sculpt is a little bit better. It's bigger. It's not as small as the Yuji Sakai one. And just everything about it's really great. Like, they basically have the same kind of pose in a way. Their arms are positioned just a little bit differently. Proportions are slightly different from the sculpt, but I don't know. I like the 30 a lot. It's a very impressive figure. I did do a review on this guy. Go check that out in the archives. And I just like the dorsal. You know, with the dorsal, I do like the more of the orange yellowish spines more than the really orange ones. Just thought that was a little too much kind of thing. So I think this is more natural. It fits his body more. It just kind of a nice transition for the two. So I think I did look at these two in the 30 centimeters review. So you'll obviously hear some of that stuff there that I'm saying now, honestly. But check out that video. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, I do love both of them. They're really great. I'll also compare the 30 centimeter, true 30 centimeter Godzilla to the Rebirth Godzilla, just to kind of get a quick look at him as well. This is about the same height as they are going to be. So basically with the Rebirth kind of rearing his head back, it is closer to the true 30. And honestly, this 30 is a little bit big. This is probably more like a 32, honestly. He's a big 30 centimeters. So the Rebirth is a true 30 centimeter figure. And I do love that. I love that that's like the true size that it should be and everything. And I just really do dig that. But a cool comparison for these two. I'll even compare the Rebirth with the burning Yuji Sakai. So we all can have a very good comparison of the two and really see their difference. And just their height alone, you know, you can see right there, that's same height for their feet. You can see the Rebirth has a little bit more height to them. Obviously with the pose rearing back, it's the same thing, but nonetheless, they are great. They go together really well. Just phenomenal figures. Even the Rebirth is a little bit bigger, chunkier wise than Burning, which is I don't know how accurate that is. I don't know if they were gonna do Rebirth a little bit bigger than they wanted to, or just to differentiate, or the Burning Godzilla didn't get enough dad bod in him to kind of get him to real scale. So that's probably why I like the 30 centimeter, just kind of more proportions are better that way. So, but yeah, great figures overall. You can't go wrong with either, or even if you get the 30, great job by the master Yuji Sakai. Just awesome overall. So now I have to do the Bearded Kaiju ranking of approval. The Burning Godzilla, I am going to give a 8.5 out of 10. And the Godzilla Rebirth, I am going to give a 8.75 out of 10. Great figures overall. I love both of them. Solid scores. You can't go wrong with them. I mean, it's Yuji Sakai. You're going to get the best of the best when you buy these figures. So, yeah, really great. But yeah, solid scores overall, solid figures. And yeah, definitely grab them while you can, because they're just going to go up in value. So with that, I am out of here. Thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I am going to do another giveaway coming up soon. So keep sharing, keep following, keep liking everything, and leave comments. Let me know what you guys think of these particular figures, and if you get them, or if you didn't get them, and if you want them, or if you don't want them, or what you want to see from the Yuji Sakai line next. Yeah, but that's it for me. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, later.